What's up, guys? Standing here with Joel Fredman from Fredman Property Group. How are you, Joel?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for your time today.
Pleasure. Anytime.
A couple of quick questions I think everybody will be interested to know. When is the best time to sell a property, number one? And number two, where do people go wrong, in your opinion, in getting their place sale ready? So number one, when's the best time to sell? Tell us.
I believe there's always a false perception in terms of what time of the year, is good to sell based on, whether the garden looks good, all of that sort of stuff. To be honest, I really believe that if you present the property well enough, if there's a market that is there for your property based on recent sales, competition, the clearance rates, if there's a strong market for your home, and if it's priced correctly, you can always sell your property. It's whether you're willing to actually adjust to those expectations. In my opinion, to really maximize the result, it's about actually selling in isolation. So you're actually selling your property with as little competition as possible in your local marketplace.
So just quickly, you mentioned clearance rates. Okay, so clearance rates is always a good indicator for me. So what would you consider a good clearance rate? For starters, what is a clearance rate?
Well, a clearance rate is basically a percentage of how many properties are actually selling that weekend. So it's normally based on the weekend. I would believe 70% and above is a strong clearance
So if
rate.
100 properties are for sale on the weekend and 60 of them sell, the clearance rate is 60%.
Yeah.
So what would a cold market be in regard to clearance rates?
Well, I think based on current conditions, if things slumped below 60 again, I reckon we're in that cooler time. Anything above 65, again, you'd look at as a fairly strong market. Above 70 is optimum. But again, it depends on your property.
So what's hot? What's a hot market?
A hot market is 75, 80%.
75, 80%.
Yeah.
So really, buyers want to be selling during those.
Sellers want to be selling if they can during those times. But again, it depends on your property. I mean, I had a couple of sales last year that were, 8 million and above that. And that was when it was a pretty cool market, but it was the perfect property for a wealthy buyer.
Okay, for the right buyer.
And you connect the two. So some of the strongest sales have actually occurred in really cool climates, but you have connected the perfect buyer with their ideal property, and it's in the negotiation. So it really depends.
And that's in the right agent's IP. It's the right agent selling the property. And I really pick up what you say there, because when I sold my property, the market was good, the clearance rates were high, they were above 70%, but I didn't put my property on the market. I listed it with an agent off market because he knew the right buyer that was going to pay the right price. Yeah. So the answer to when is it the right time to sell your property, well, depending on the market, that's one thing, but if you've got the right agent, it can be
if you've got the right agent and if you've got the right product at the time, I suppose. So you've really got to look at the insight as to who's buying, what kind of buyers are out there. So for me, at the moment, I'm dealing with some buyers that have budgets of, 10, 15, 20 million. My focus at the moment is on finding them the awesome property, so I know they're going to pay top dollar for that property. I'm not going to show them sort of mid-range B-grade stuff, because I know that these guys, in any market, they're wealthy people. They're going to buy the right thing and pay the premium for that. But when it comes to, properties that are sub 1.5, 1 million or whatever it is, really, you've just got to get competitive with the other properties that, are running against you, but work on the buyer feedback and how to present the property as best as possible, but have an agent who loves the property as much as you do and is actually representing you and the house correctly, not just juggling 10, 15, 20 listings that are basically numbered properties. You want someone who comes in and loves that property and the buyer feels that, and they feel the trust to actually go further to buy that property at the top dollar. All right. So there's lots of different variables.
All right, back with part two here, the second question. Thank you, Joel.
Pleasure.
Where do vendors, in your opinion, where do vendors go wrong when they're getting their house sale ready? Where do they, in your opinion, where do they go wrong?
Well, I think number one, when vendors are selling their property or getting it ready for sale, where they go wrong is, number one, assuming that buyers love what their house is currently, okay, and hoping that their stuff will work, their furniture, their personality, and just hoping that the buyers are the same as them and not being open to changing those things. Number two, they try and get things done cheaply, or they try and do things themselves when actually they don't have the skill set to do those things, and it looks like it's being bullshit.
So you'd never tell someone to do their own renovation?
Look, I believe we've got people who are certified builders or have really good connections. If I know and can trust that they can deal with those things, I'll let them do that. But what a big key thing is, when you're especially wanting a decent price for your property, buyers who are savvy, they can see when things are done badly and done cheaply, and they will then take off a percentage of what they're going to pay for the property to then have to redo those things.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And that's not exactly getting the best price for
That's
your
not
property.
No. So you've actually spent the time and the effort to do those things, but you've done them incorrectly, and it's actually affected your price. It's lost you money on the investment, and the buyers are going to, again, take a cut off the price because they have to go and mend those things themselves.
So people doing their own personal touch, and also people either doing things on the cheap or doing them themselves.
Correct.
You're saying are probably the two main things
That's right.
that where vendors go wrong in trying to maximise their sale price.
I think I say to my clients, you've got one shot at doing this, do it correctly, and put the effort in, and spend the money where you need to spend it, based on experience, based on my advice as an agent. If you do these things and do them correctly, we're not going to make you spend money on things for no reason. You spend the money to make money. Put $1 in, get $3 out, and you got one shot. Get the buyer captured straight away and get the result. So just do it properly and do it quickly.
I love that. Get one shot. I mean, you might get more than one shot if you've got a long time to sell, but the mental drain that goes on with having another shot and trying to get things right. I love that. You get one shot because that's really that's the only shot that you get. You get the one shot to do it, to sell it, and to get it right.
You got one shot, do it right.
Thanks Joel.
Mate. Well done.